Hey beautiful people, Kenya here, and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while since I got back from vacation. I just needed a little bit of a break, but we're back, and we're back in full force with Halloween makeup. I'm probably a little bit late because I know everyone's already started this. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy this look. There's plenty of skulls out there. I just want to do a glam version. I got a lot of inspiration from a lot of pictures and people I saw around, so I hope you guys have a very happy Halloween. I'll be back with more Halloween looks hopefully before the month's end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys in my next video.
Hey guys, so before we jumped in, I just wanted to show you a little bit of my inspiration here on Pinterest, of course. But we're going to start with some white face paint I got from Snazaroo. I ordered this from Amazon. All links will be down below. I have a black one too. I think I forgot to show you guys, but just so you know. You'll see me struggling here to try to get the face paint on. I'm dipping a lot and I'm dragging it pretty hard. I was, the smart girl that I am, and I didn't use any water to begin with, and then I figured it out, but use some water. So what I'm doing now is just outlining the parts that are going to be black, because obviously if you mix the white and the black, it's going to give you a great look, and you want to make sure that your blacks are kind of really black here. So I'm outlining. You'll see that I outlined the jawline. No, that's where I figured out to use the water. You'll see that I outlined the jawline here to do the teeth. There's no point in doing that. I completely just went over it, so that's why I sped it up a little faster. But I went right over it, so just don't do that. Now I'm going to start off with a foundation brush by spraying it, and I'm going to use that to apply some color. I noticed that got really streaky, so I did end up going to a beauty blender. As you can see, the paint is pretty thin, so you're going to need to go over it more than once. And I think around this point is when I figured out, well, let me just use a beauty blender. And it worked so much better, especially when you used it with a little bit of water like you usually do. So definitely wait for it to dry a little bit. So work your way from top to bottom and then go back to the top to build up the color. Now's the time that I give myself those Dave Chappelle white powdered donut lips. I'm using a slightly dirty Real Techniques brush to go in with the black face paint to give the outline of my eye socket. I'm not going to just go ahead and paint the whole thing because I'm going to put some eye color in there. It is still sort of a makeup look, so just make the outlining circle, and then we'll make that circle a little less circular as we go on. I'm using my soft ochre paint pot and a nice fluffy sort of blending brush, concealer airbrush, to put that on, and I tried to put it on under my eyes with the brush, but that didn't work out, so just use your fingers. There's not a lot of space under there, at least in my eyes, so I'm going in with the Morphe 35N palette, and I'm going for a nice sort of beige bone-ish color. And I'm going to sweep that all over my lid, and then I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Shimma Shimma. I put that all over my lid over the first bone color that I put down just because I wanted it to show up a little bit more. I'm going in with a tapered blending brush. I believe that's from NARS, the 35N palette, that nice like purple color. And I'm going to put that into my crease. Now this is going to be a graduated look, and I totally forgot to show you guys the rest of the colors that I used. So I'll just have to explain it. But most of them are from the 35N palette, and one of them is a like really dark purple. Like it almost looks black. And that's from the from one of these no-name makeup things that I got, and I really just don't know where it's from. I'm sorry. But either way, just right now I'm going in with the darker purple from that same 35N palette. There's like 3 dark purples, and one of them is sort of brown. So you're going to go in for the really dark purple to sort of graduate that up. It's going to look like a gradient from this lighter color all the way to the black. So I'm going in with that really dark purple that I just talked about. It's almost black, but it is a no-name color because I have no idea where it's from. I got it so long ago, I have no idea what it is. So then I'm going to go back in with the Snazaroo black, and I'm going to start pulling that down into the purple to make sure that there isn't any spaces showing. And then I'm going to take a dark, either matte or shimmery black, whichever one you have, and I'm going to go over that so that I can blend out the harsh line from the paint into the sort of softer lines of my eyeshadow, since it's, you know, like a gradient, like I said before. So I felt like that lighter color got a little lost, so I'm just going to re-intensify that. And then we're going to go in with some liquid liner. I'm using Anastasia's, Anastasia's gel liner in the color Jet. And we're going to line the eyes, and we're going to give a little baby wing. Just a very small one at the end, nothing that you can really see. Back again with that Real Techniques brush and the black Snazaroo face paint, we're going to darken all of the colors all of the parts that we didn't fill in with the white before. So we're going to do our temples here, and then we're going to go for our nose. And I think this one I kind of messed up a little bit, and I had to go back into it with the white because I made it a little too straight. It isn't really a straight line, so you'll see me trying to go over it. And that gets a little difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because as you go over it, it just starts turning gray. So my camera was not recording when I thought it was, so I already did my nose, but I will tell you that I just used the very small detailed Real Techniques brush, and the key to this is really just to make your nose points uneven. I'm going in with some eyeliner. I'm using the one from NARS. I forget what it's called, but I'll leave it down below. And we're just going to make sure that our inner waterline is dark, just like the black. I've got my pencil brush, I think it's from Sigma, and a flat shader brush from Sonia Kashuk, I'm pretty sure. And I am going to make some brow furrows here, just to give the white a little more dimension. It's just kind of like a stark white, and I want to make it, I want to give it some shading and make it look a little more real. So we're gonna do some small brow furrows. I had a hard time trying to figure out how to blend this. You saw I used a blending brush, and then that didn't really work out well. It was just kind of taking the paint off. The paint was very easy to flake off of my skin. So you'll see that I use a blending brush, and I think the best way for me to go ahead and blend that out was to use the paint itself. So I'm just very lightly going in with the black paint, and then I'm going over it with the beauty blender that has the paint on it. And after a while, I think I just started using a brush because that was easier since that blender is so big. So now, because the eyes are so rounded, we want it to look a little bit like, not oblong, but we just wanted to give more shape because the eyes of a skull aren't perfectly rounded. So I just sort of gave it like a little dip at the end there. And I'm just using that really small detailed Real Techniques brush to give it the shapes that I need at the certain points that I want. So a very small brush will help you here not to make any mistakes. And yeah, I just went ahead and used the Real Techniques brush with the rest of the paint that was on it, and decided to use a small shader brush with some white paint on it to blend any of that out. I just wanted to darken up the brow furrows. You couldn't really see it with the first technique I was using, so I think this worked out definitely a lot better. So now that I look permanently angry, you'll see like a little bit of a line over at the right of my face. I decided to start making a crack, but I had commitment issues and I didn't finish it. But I do end up doing some more cracks. So now I'm going to go in with my Sigma foundation brush. And I am going to bring some gray from my forehead down into the skull a little bit, and I decided to blend it with the Real Techniques like fluffy brush. I don't even know what that's for, so I go in with the black a little bit, and then I go over it with some white, and just to make some gray. We just want our forehead to look a little bit shaded, to look like it's actually kind of rounded up there. And we decided to go back for the cracks again, so I'm using that very small detailed brush, the same one I used to make the brow furrows, and I'm just making a few cracks over here at the top of my the head. Kept forgetting that my camera wasn't recording when I thought it was, so I'm just going in now and I'm redoing those jaw lines that I was doing before when I first started. Now they're going to be black, so we're going to start out by making one line at the top, and then we're going to make a jaw that like connects to it at the bottom. You'll see that when I first do it, they are definitely not the same size. Make sure they're the same size. I go in later and fix it. But we're going to start that off with the black, and then we're going to make the same shape on this side of my face, and you just want it to like taper off, so lighten up your grip a little bit when you get towards the middle. I'm going to put some black in between my lips. I put way too much, definitely a lot less, and then I'm going to go in with the black from the Snazaroo palette. Actually, just so you guys know, sometimes like I use the Snazaroo face paint, and then sometimes I go in with the equivalent of the Flash palette from Makeup Forever, but I'm just filling in those outer parts, and we're going to taper it later. I'm making a line for the teeth, and then this starts the time-consuming part. I'm gonna go in and make each one of these teeth. You should probably try to make them so that they are around the same size. They don't need to be right on top of each other, but they definitely need to be the same size, or else they would look crazy. So I tried to give equal spacing, and you'll see that I started off pretty short with the teeth, but you can definitely make that line a lot longer because it's going to need to extend down, and I end up doing that later too. There's a lot of trial and error here. Either way, make the teeth. As you see, mine aren't, you know, perfectly straight up and down. I'm going to shade with some black eyeshadow just to make it a little bit darker here in the corners where the teeth kind of disappear. And now I'm going to go back in and make those lines longer for the teeth and start detailing them. So you're really just going to extend the lines that you made already if you didn't like me, and kind of curve the bottom, make a little triangle to connect each of the lines at the bottom so that you can make a more tooth-like shape. This took a lot of time. This is the most time-consuming part. When I thought I was like, oh, I'm almost done, I'm already at the teeth. No. If you want it to look like at least slightly realistic, you're going to need to spend some time on this. So be very light-handed with your brushes. Use a very small and detailed brush. I'm using an eyeliner brush, one of those straight eyeliner brushes. And yeah, you're going to have to do a lot of shading here, so sit down and relax. I realized that there was too much of a black space between my front teeth, so I went back in with the white and tried to redo it and just put a small amount of black, like I said you should do in the beginning. My camera stopped recording in the middle of this, but all I did was continue on with detailing the teeth, and then I did a lot of shading between each teeth, which you can see now already. And I still just use that same little brush. So now I'm just going through and I'm putting a few lines to the teeth so that they don't all look perfect, and I'm darkening up any blacks that I see just to make it a little more darker towards the edge. It still looks a little light to me. And now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm kind of outlining the jaw, sort of kind of what we did with the brow furrows at the top. I'm using the same technique, but I'm outlining the jaw just so like it has a little more dimension and it doesn't look so flat. So I'm using that same Real Techniques little detailer brush and the same small brush with some white to blend it out. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing all over our face. So where the jawline connects, we're going to do that again and blend it out, and now you can really start to see it take shape. Like I said earlier, my other side wasn't very shapely, so I just went in and redid the shape a little bit and did the same thing. Now I am outlining my eyes, or the orbital bone, just to give that a little more dimension, using the same exact technique. Time to put some mascara on. I just wanted to dry before I go in with lashes, so I'm using I think it's Makeup Forever's Excessive Lash. Is it by Makeup Forever? I'm pretty sure it is, but I'll leave it down below. I am going back in and darkening the black on my lips, and I'm just doing some more shading on the teeth. Like I said, these teeth take forever. I'm just extending them down because I feel like they're too short, like they just kind of end, and I didn't like that. So yeah, then I just made a bunch of mistakes here with this with this brush that was giving me gray instead of white. I decided to do a little bit of shading, so I went in with that Real Techniques fluffy brush and dipped it in a small amount of black and a little bit of the white to make a gray gradient, just so I can shade the sides a little bit. And I tried to put some purple on top just so that I can bring out the colors of my eyeshadow into the rest of the look. So that was me just trying to, you know, make it all blend and work together. Because I am all over the place, I forgot to do my other little orbital socket here, so I am going back into it and I am doing the same outlining, the same technique I've been doing. Like I said, I wanted to bring some purple in, so I put a little bit around the teeth, just wherever the darkest shading was. I decided to stick a little bit of purple in there just to pull the look together. Time for some more cracks. I'm going to make some at the bottom of my jaw, and I just use the same technique as the top. And then you'll see after I went in with I think it was an eyeliner / eyebrow brush, like one of those flat angled brushes, and I went and did some sort of highlights with the white paint again. Actually, to be honest, I didn't use the white paint. I used I had like a dupe of the Makeup Forever Flash palette, so it's like a cream white, just because the paint sort of blended in with each other. But that's what I used to highlight the cracks, and you'll see that in a bit. I decided to bring those highlights onto all of the little gradients that I made here, or not gradients, but onto all of the little like raised parts, anything that was supposed to look 3D. I just highlighted the cracks and under the blacks I put down. And I really wanted this to look really black at the bottom, so I decided to paint my neck with the face paint. So this is just the Snazaroo, I didn't use anything else, and I just layered it a few times. And then halfway through I got commitment issues, and I was like, I am totally not painting my whole chest. That's too messy. And it was like really late by this point, so I'm like, no. So I painted halfway, and then I just put my hair in front of it. Time for lashes. These are the iconic lashes from House of Lashes, of course, and that is the look, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and you know, go to Instagram if you want to see more pictures.